Hey, motherfuckers. Welcome to our podcast. I'm Heather. I'm sassy, and I play Loxus, and I like beavers.
Beavers? What is she?
I don't know.
She's got beaver fever.
Oh, beavers. Like the animals or the like euphemism for vaginas?
Both.
I'm just going to say yes. The answer is yes.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Alpha, right, everybody?
Yeah. It's an actual play podcast with only ladies.
All ladies, all the time.
No
dudes allowed.
Nope.
Zero dicks.
So we have Heather, who plays Loxus. We have Danny, who plays Savia Shakel.
That's me.
We have... See, I'm trying... Agug is your first name or last name,
No,
Heather?
Lox is first name, so Agug is last name.
Loxus Agug. Savia Shakel.
Agug.
Yeah, I'll never get the inflection on that right. We have Deanna, who plays...
Posa Izael.
Posa Izael. And we have a new player at the table.
Hi!
Ashley. Ashley, do you have a name for your character yet?
No.
To be honest, that's the hardest part of making any character,
really
so no
is.
big deal.
Well, I really like the name Penelope,
Name
but that's
generator.
not very
Vulcan?
good. No, it's not.
It's good. What's wrong with it?
It can be
It
your
needs
nickname.
more apostrophes and like V's in it. Made some T's.
Right? T's,
Well,
T's and
are
V's.
you Vulcan?
I am.
Yeah.
You're Vulcan. I don't think a Penelope is a traditional Vulcan name.
Right, but I'm not a
But you
traditional
can-
Vulcan, so...
True.
Exactly. You
Did
could have
you just
changed
change
your
your
name.
name? Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Did I just change it?
We're all a little fucking weird around
Yeah,
here.
like you were born
Yes!
like to Paul or something, and
Right.
because every Vulcan's name is to Paul, as we all know, or to Pal.
Avi,
And
yes.
Yeah.
you changed your name to Penelope because you fuck Vulcans, you know? You don't like them.
Exactly. Yep, Penelope.
It's true. Yeah.
I'm it. I'm Penelope the Vulcan.
You want to have a last name,
And I'm
though?
full of
maybe?
feelings.
Yeah.
I have so many feelings.
I do.
Maybe, like, just Google, like, a last name, because just Penelope the Vulcan is maybe a little bit,
So Google
like
a Vulcan last name.
like a kid's book, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the
Penelope Smith.
Well, that's too hitting close to home, so...
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
forgot.
Fair
I
enough.
forgot.
Fair enough.
generator. Let's see.
There it is.
That's how I got my name.
Triaxian.
Do Vulcans have last names?
No, they're like share. It's just one.
That's true.
word.
Yeah, because it was just T'Pol. It was just...
Tuvok.
Vulcans
and
do not
Spock.
have middle and last names. It's just one. So Penelope's fine, guys.
Blam.
Okay.
I didn't even
Penelope the
know.
Vulcan.
Yeah.
I didn't either. Now we
I
know.
call
Never
you
thought
Penny?
of it.
Fake geek.
I call you Penny.
Yeah, Penny.
Penny.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Penelope's way too stuffy for me, so yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
Lieutenant Penny.
Lieutenant Penny the
Lieutenant
Vulcan.
I like her already.
Yeah.
Wait, do I know her?
fits
Do we
right
all
in.
meet before?
So that's a good question. So as we're introducing Penelope to the storyline, I guess there's some narrative choices that you can make. She can either already be on the ship, the Komodo, and you just haven't met her yet, or she can be new to the ship. You could pick her up at a space station.
I vote that.
Starbase 56.
Starbase 69.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Nice.
That would
Starbase
be
420.
A Gug
Wow.
picked me up at Starbase 69.
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm all
you
for that.
know
If you want to
what
tie your
I
storyline
mean.
in with mine. I am, yep, swing. Hey, Penelope.
Hey.
We're never going to get anything done.
Well, the good news is that you guys, the three of you, already have fairly well. I mean, you're still growing into your characters, but after 6 sessions, you pretty much know who your characters are narratively.
Yeah.
So that part of so I guess, hello listeners, we're actually switching. We mentioned this before in one of the last episodes, but we're switching to the Fate system because D&D is not really designed for future games. It's just not. You can convert D&D into a future setting, but it's just not great. And as we learned using 3.5 D20 Modern, is a lot of computer checks, and that's really boring.
Pretty dull. Pretty dull.
Yeah.
Just checking computers and firing our phasers.
For Star Trek? Yeah, exactly. So, and because this is a podcast, we wanted to try to push it to be more of a narrative game, right? Where it's still a game, we're still using a rule set, and we still want to roll dice, but having it be such a rules-based game that D&D is. D&D has a rule for everything, and that doesn't. I mean, you guys are great at making the narrative. It wasn't really a problem, but at the same time, the rule set is so structured, it's kind of imperfect for what we were trying to do.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move over to Fate. Fate's a lot different. If you've listened to the Adventure Zone, you know about Fate because they just played the commitment arc on it. I haven't listened to any of that. I wanted to go in Fate Virgin, and we're playing Fate Accelerated. We're not playing Standard Fate, mostly because it just is, I don't want to say easier, but it is slightly more structured. And it's a little less freeform than just regular Fate. So, in Fate Accelerated, you have these 6 stats, and in Fate, regular Fate, those aren't those 6, they're not there. It's a lot more open-ended. And I thought, well, that's, we do like a little structure around here. So where is that character sheet? You guys had linked to it. Let me pull that open before we get going.
I got to the email a lot faster, the one that you sent with the master documents and stuff. Because scrolling back through the chat was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to do that
have
too.
it in
I was like,
my
no.
clipboard still. Let me just
Danny's got
see.
it right here.
Is that it? I can't remember if that was. Hopefully, that's not something weird. Nope, that is it.
That is it? Did you,
Yes,
did
that
you
is
just
it.
put it in the Skype chat?
I'm sorry, I put it in the Gmail chat.
Oh, no, that's fine.
Dummy.
That's fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. No. Don't you dare start chastising yourself for putting it in some place that I can easily access. Yes. Okay, so D&D, as you all know, has a skill. You've got your core stats like strength, charisma, dexterity, constitution, wisdom. Fate Accelerated has careful, clever, flashy, forceful, quick, and sneaky. And these are a lot like D&D, right? Clever is clearly
Intelligence.
Yeah, your intelligent. Flashy is your charisma. Forceful is your strength. Quick is your dexterity. Sneak is also your dexterity. Careful is probably your wisdom, intelligence. So careful is, we'll just go through this real quick. We'll actually get more into the rules as we play. We're not actually going to play a thing tonight. We're just going to make the characters. But once we start playing an actual game session, it'll make a lot more sense. But careful is if you're taking the time to do something well. Like you take a time to line up a phaser shot. You take the moment to make sure you're fully aware of your surroundings. That's you roll your careful. Clever is, you think of the right thing at the right moment and act quickly, do something witty, it's clever is not slow. It's not long term. That's careful. Clever is the opposite. It's very fast thinking. Flashy is basically your charisma. So if you're trying to impress someone or make some fireworks with your fingers like Jubilee or
Fuck someone.
If you're going to use your flashy, 100%.
There's a gug.
Forceful
That's an easy choice for a gug.
Well,
a 3 in flashy.
a gug's also going to want forceful.
That's true. She got a 2 in forceful.
Forceful is your strength, right? This is how good you are at breaking down walls, hitting people, moving hard objects, things like that. Quick, obviously, is your dexterity, how fast you run, how nimble you are, and sneaky is how sneaky you are. So, stealthy. If you're pickpocketing, if you're picking locks, things like that, that's sneaky.
Do you think that would be like also like deception and like vocally sneaky as well?
So the great thing about Fate is that and we'll talk about this more, but anytime you do an action, you get to decide which one applies, but you have to make a good case for it, right? So if you're saying, I'm going to use my sneak skill to deceive them because of XYZ, and you explain why you're using sneaky, if it makes sense, then yeah, you can use that skill. You can, as long as you can justify why you're using the skill for the thing that you're doing, it's fine. So if you can find a really clever way to use things, use your best skills, your best approaches for certain things, then yeah, great. If you just try to put a square peg in a round hole because you're trying to use your highest stat and it doesn't sound good, it doesn't make any sense narratively, then we're going to be like, nah, you use your other skill, right? So.
Totally.
So, making characters, the first thing, and this is going to be easy for the three of you that already have characters, but the first thing you want to think about and write down on your sheet is your high concept aspect. So it's a word or phrase or sentence that describes something centrally important to your character. It can be a motto that your character lives by, a personality quirk, a description of a relationship you have with another character, an important possession. It's really open-ended. So
did anybody do this already?
I kind of did.
I did.
I kind of did mine too.
My high concept, I'm not entirely sure, just because, I'm not entirely sure. But my trouble is fuck authority.
Yeah, no, that's...
You're punk rock.
I know.
It makes total
Oh my God.
It makes complete sense for your character.
Yeah.
Did you turn your comm badge into an anarchy symbol?
She just wears it upside down.
Yeah. And on the right side.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a great one.
Okay.
So I did mine, and I don't know if this is appropriate, so tell me if I did it wrong, Susie. But I put that I'm the first Enar engineer in Starfleet.
So that's a great high concept, in fact.
That is.
That it's complicated, right? Like, it has positive aspects and it has negative aspects, right? So, and a high aspect, and not in this game, but it can be something like, I'm a wizard in the third circle of sorcery. What the fuck does that mean? Well, we'll find out because you'll tell us about it, right?
Right, exactly. We could make it up, but
yeah,
right.
and so that's a really good high concept.
Sweet, I did it right. Gold star.
Locks, Loxuses. I mean, yours could be like
YOLO, let's bone.
Yeah, I mean,
so we have
right,
fuck authority and then fuck everything else.
it has.
YOLO.
YOLO is a motto, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It has
And
positive
let's bone
aspects, and it has negative aspects.
It's just part of it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Let's bone is also a motto.
It can get you out of tight spots, and it can get you into some tight spots.
Damn right it can.
I'm seeing what you have done there.
No. High concept.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
Those are all perfect. Deanna, did you have an idea for your high concept?
I was kind of running with something having to do with the fact that I'm what's the word? I'm antisocial. I'm not, because I know I've got fuck authority, but antisocial and I don't really know, honestly.
So what's like antisocial's good, but what's a higher?
Because that's a kind of specific thing.
Yeah. Take antisocial and think of it on a higher plane, right?
Why are you antisocial? Has something to
Exactly.
do with being Bajoran? Does that have something to do with your size? Does that have something to do with your
Upbringing.
what
Yeah.
you are focusing on in your life? Like, you're mostly a botanist, but like, why? Is it because you don't?
Yeah.
Is it because you like botany because you don't like people? You like plants more?
That could be it. It could be something like, I'm an astrobotanist and I prefer plants to people. That would be a great high concept.
Okay. One of the things that I thought of was because I was trying to make it catchy because that's just how my brain works. So I was like, can't blind me with science.
Oh boy.
That would actually be more hilarious for Danny's character.
Oh, because I'm blind,
You're
guys.
I like how we all completely forgot for the last 6 sessions that you are actually blind.
No.
But narratively, you have
No.
you have telepathic. You have such great telepathic powers that apparently it didn't matter. Apparently, you're real great, great at using computers.
That was like the main thing I was thinking of last night. It's like it really doesn't make any sense that someone who's blind can use telepathy to see a computer screen. Like, how's that work? But it does work because we've already written it into the canon of our universe.
Yep.
So that's now, I think that's like a path that my character is going to take. Like, I'm interested in technology because there's no like logic behind why I can even interact with it.
Right.
And my species probably doesn't interact with it on a general basis. So I'm like kind of rebelling against the life I always had, the life I'm expected to have by doing this. Being the first Enar engineer in Starfleet. Enar. I'm going to say it right one of these days. Enar.
Yeah. No, it's I agree. I think that's a perfect aspect. So, Deanna, if you want to think about it a little bit more.
I just wrote down, it's not for sure, I just wrote down obsessive xenobiologist.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Perfect.
Yeah. It just has to be something that you can take advantage of and that other people can take advantage of, both to your benefit and your detriment.
Yeah, because
Okay.
that high concept has positives, like being obsessively into xenobiology could really come in handy in a lot of situations. But being obsessively into xenobiology is maybe not the best for social interactions.
Yeah.
Right.
How
Okay.
you deal with authority, that sort of thing. So it has positive and negative aspects.
Okay, I feel good about that then.
Cool. Ashley,
What?
what is Penelope's deal? What is her high concept? What is her
Well,
overarching
Well, we talked about it
motto?
in chat, but we didn't talk about it on air. So,
right.
Okay.
The listeners
you're a
don't know.
Vulcan, right?
I am.
You're playing
Oh,
a
yeah.
Vulcan female.
I am a Vulcan female. Absolutely. And my name is Penelope.
Right.
And
Discuss that.
so I grew up as Vulcans do, and I went into studying language. So I'm a cunning linguist, I am. And
I get it.
get it. And hey, Agug, hey.
That's why we're friends.
Yep. And so through doing that and studying other cultures and other languages, I realized that Vulcans don't necessarily have it all down with the whole repressing all of your emotions. And I'm all about living your best life kind of thing.
Live your truth, man. Live your truth.
Live your truth. Yes, absolutely. So that's Penny in a nutshell.
So your motto is The Secret?
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say, she has a vision board. Yeah.
I'm a Vulcan life coach. So
Yes.
I really like that concept a lot.
really excited to be on your ship,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
So you've just sort of given up that strict adherence to controlling your emotions, well, with like overbearing logic.
Yeah.
So, okay, yeah, no, and as we talked about in the text chat, there is Enterprise established a...
Vitosh Couture.
Yeah, exactly. And they're not out of fucking control bananas.
No, they're not.
Like, right? Yeah, I was gonna say,
Right.
I remember this from Enterprise, but I don't remember how they acted in particular, but they're like, hey, we don't have to be huge, like, boring assholes to control our emotions.
Right, but is that the one where the guy tried to make T'Pol, like, feel things?
Yeah. Was
Yeah.
that, like,
So, I mean, like, that wasn't good.
uncomfortable.
That guy was an asshole, for
That
sure.
one was, but there's
As
assholes
with
amongst all of us, right?
There's an asshole.
Right,
Yeah.
he's living his truth, and his truth is that he's a dick, so,
Yeah.
yeah. there's
Yeah.
that.
We talk a lot about consensual stuff
Good.
on this podcast, it turns out. So
Good.
Yeah.
Comes up a lot with us, but
it's
yeah.
important. It's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Weird that like 4 to 5 women would be like really heavy on talking about consent in a
So
Right?
weird.
Yeah, I
Right.
know, it's crazy.
That's
We're really pushing the bar here, people.
So locks.
Pioneers.
Did we get a trouble for locks? We want to go into the next part.
Yeah, so you got your high concepts. The next thing is a trouble. It's a thing that always gets you in trouble, right? Deanna's is she doesn't respect authority. It can be a personal weakness, a reoccurring enemy, or an important obligation, right?
VD.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
That's your reoccurring enemy.
Exactly.
I mean, I'm sure the med bay
Space herpes is hard to beat.
Right.
the med bay probably could get you fixed up, but the problem is you keep bringing it back to the med bay, and the doctor's like, again.
I feel like we've eliminated VD in the future.
But also, like, with all
Okay,
of the
okay,
different
that's all right.
species and all of that stuff, like,
Yeah, man. You
just
never know.
the different antibiotics, like the bacteria resistant, like, yeah, the antibiotic resistant stuff, it would need to be changing constantly to try and keep up with it, medically speaking.
Yeah, it's true.
So,
I mean, your high aspect could get you into certain ailment-related troubles.
Yep.
I mean, I mean, VD is funny. It's not a very deep character concept.
No, not really.
I'll be honest. I could go a little deeper.
That's what she said.
I knew it.
I mean,
I don't know.
Ow, I didn't even catch that one.
Not that I'm pushing for you to have VD as your trouble, but like a valid trouble would be like alcoholism. I don't know. VD's kind of on that same, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But I'm not. You don't have to have VD. I'm just what I'm trying to say is that there really isn't any. All ideas are good ideas.
No wrong answers, guys.
Exactly.
right.
So what
Is
do
that
you
your
think,
answer,
Loxus?
though?
is there multiple troubles? Because there's nothing.
Yeah, after trouble, there's just other aspects you can assign
Yeah.
to yourself.
And those
we
are
can-
going to be much more specific, minor aspects.
Yeah, spur of the moment
Oh.
type things.
Can my trouble be a constant hard-on and a hot head?
Yeah.
All right.
Really.
Those are related.
I know, right? It's like the same thing.
Yeah.
It is kind of the same thing.
Yep. Deanna, what? We already talked about your
We already
trouble.
talked
Danny.
about Deanna's. So mine, I guess, would be. I was
Blindness?
thinking. Well,
No,
yeah, but apparently that doesn't affect me in any way.
it's not a problem. Yeah.
But what I was thinking is like because I'm so telepathic and I'm like have this information about the world that other people don't, or I at least assume other people don't, that would make me be like I take the lead in situations without really consulting my companions
Yes.
or following my legitimate rank.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
that makes
sometimes you
sense.
like know shit that we don't know and you don't
Right.
communicate with us. So you're
Exactly.
just like, let's do this. And we're like, why the fuck are we doing that?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I think that sounds good.
So what would if you had to sum that up in a word or a phrase, what would you say that would be?
I mean, I don't have anything as saucy as not blinded by science, but I just wrote down like independent to a fault due
Okay.
to telepathic ability.
Perfect. Ashley, what gets you in trouble?
Trying to think. I could see her being like really into like acid or drugs, something like that.
No.
Like-
I mean that's fine.
Because I want
Yeah.
to feel everything and experience everything to kind of stray away from Vulcans, and so I want to just get into those like what's the word for like acid and shrooms and psycho blah.
Mind altering drugs? or
Yeah,
something
like really into mind altering drugs just because I really want to experience things. I could see that.
Different experiences.
Yeah.
Space drugs.
Space
You're into
drugs.
any of it.
Yeah.
There's always
Another reason why we're friends.
Way
I
into
don't
space
understand how you
drugs.
got into Starfleet though. Don't they
No.
screen for that?
No, she like she kept it on the DL for like
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
And then she took her test and was like, I'm going into Starfleet because space drugs.
Yes.
Everyone knows acid doesn't show up in a piss test. Come on.
I know. I only use the stuff that's gone
didn't
like
get a
3
better
days
piss
max.
test and-
So
Yeah, right. It's not a more in-depth one. But maybe in the future, I mean, drugs just don't matter anymore.
and also how do
That's what I was gonna
Vulcans
say.
metabolize
Addiction isn't
things?
a
Matter
thing.
anymore.
Vulcans might
Or alcohol
metabolize
doesn't.
drugs like real fast. I don't know. I don't know if Vulcans.
But you could always, you're always chasing that dragon, right? Like it gets you in
Absolutely.
trouble because you hear about a new designer drug, or if we go somewhere
A
and they're-
spiritual experience.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah, it doesn't even have to necessarily
be a drug.
drugs. Maybe
Yeah.
you just want to experience
Like
whatever cultures
skydiving
we're
and
in,
shit.
and
I'm an
and
adrenaline
maybe
junkie.
do something that is dangerous.
Adrenaline junkie.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
and or the team.
Okay. we'll go with that adrenaline junkie instead
Wanderlust.
of just druggy.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, it just encompasses more than just
it
druggy.
does. You are correct. I
Druggy
like that.
too.
Yeah.
Yep.
The drugs are definitely in there.
They're definitely solidly in there with the adrenaline and other things. So
Well, while we're
Sounds
setting
good.
some of the world building in Star Trek canon, of course, you can drink synthahol, get drunk, and then there's some kind of hypo spray that immediately undrunks you. So
Yeah.
let's go ahead and say that there's like an unhallucinogen hypo spray also. So
Right.
you could take hallucinogen drugs or whatever, take psychotropic drugs, and then if something comes up, we'll just give you a hypo spray and you're back to
But
sane mind.
if you drink actual alcohol in Star Trek, you still, I mean, the injection only works on synthahol. So if you actually drink real alcohol, you still get drunk and hungover, and it still jacks you up. So I think like maybe there's some designer drugs out there that do have these in these shots, these hypo sprays you can take to get it out of your system. But
But
there
not
might be
all of them.
there might be some gritty ones made in the back of someone's like shuttlecraft that are gonna jack you up for a couple
Undoubtedly.
days, right? Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
yeah.
So yeah. Cool. Okay, so the next thing is just and I'll say we'll just start with one for now, and I think that as we play you might want to choose one or two more. But right now we'll just do one more aspect. So aspects are the name for these, I mean, literally aspects of your character or aspects of a situation, right? So your high concept and your trouble are aspects of your character. What is another aspect of your character? It doesn't have, doesn't have to be so high concept. It can be a lot more specific or finite. But again, it should be something that is beneficial, but also not necessarily negative, but in a way could potentially contribute to the story or the narrative. So
Yeah.
let's start. I guess for example, here's some examples. Are they the strongest person in their hometown? Do they carry a mighty sword known through history? Do they talk too much? Are you filthy rich? Like, these are all aspects, potential aspects that just describe your character. So,
Yeah.
I feel like the talking too much would way be Penny.
Yeah.
I feel like Penny talks a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
See that.
Yeah, and the cool
ahead.
thing is that as we play, you are able to, when it makes sense, at certain times you can swap your aspects. So, okay, so Penelope talks too much. What do you think, Deanna?
I had it and then I lost it.
I ruined it.
But yep, no, go to something else.
It's
I
like because
lost it.
Penny was talking, right? It's distracting.
Heather, what do you think? What's another aspect of Loxus's character?
I'm sorry, I was chewing.
Always chewing.
Always chewing.
I had dinner late. Oh,
Same joke.
Anyway.
Sorry, Susie.
Oh, I was thinking like if I had like maybe like an uncle or an aunt or something that was kind of like high up in politics. So
Sure.
trying to like shove me away, like distance themselves from me, and also can
Okay.
also help me.
Because you're
Okay.
an embarrassment.
Yes. so you have
Embarrassment? Okay.
Yeah, right. Totally.
Is
So
VD
someone-
like
someone in like the
not
Klingon
honorable?
council. Yeah. How many?
Right. Yeah. Someone on the Klingon council. Well, and I'm totally not very Klingon, so it's
Right.
another like it's just I'm just shameful,
Okay.
but it's also can be helpful.
Okay.
I was thinking rude or crass, whichever word you want to use.
Okay.
Like I can probably like shame someone or just like freak them out by being just really obnoxious and rude. Or I could obviously get in trouble for being rude. And it goes along with fuck authority, but it's mostly like I'm not very nice to anybody.
Okay. Sure. Abrasive.
Likeable.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. Yeah, no, that works. Well, unlikable's not doesn't have a lot of positive aspects. So maybe
Well, I wrote down
brash and
abrasive. Abrasive is
outspoken,
good.
or
outspoken or always says what they're thinking, or something like that.
No filter.
Yeah, there you go. No filter.
And also, if someone's unlikable or whatever, they're not worried about what other people think, so they're going to do things for the right reasons or whatever instead of trying to impress people or whatever.
Yes.
Sure. Yeah, that's true.
So, golden lining
Yeah,
or
I'm
silver
definitely not
lining,
out for
whatever.
that. Golden lining.
Golden lining, guys.
It's even better than silver lining.
Exactly.
How about Savia?
I didn't really get this far with Savia. I think maybe I don't know how good of an aspect it would be, but I think I don't have any family
Okay.
that like I got like disowned.
Okay. Oh no, that's good.
So I'm
Yeah,
like,
you and Loxus got some.
So you're independent, but also like alone.
yeah, independent because I had to be. In order to go into Starfleet, I had to turn my back on all my fam.
Okay.
Yeah.
in their
you
ice
turned your
caves.
back on them.
I did. Just like press the button and just spun around. Turned my back straight on them.
Terrible. It's terrible.
Right, I have to turn my back on you.
Yeah. So I don't know if there's anything good that can come of that, but maybe I am interested in eventually growing to bond with people since I don't have anybody.
There you go. I think there you go. Yep. So maybe you've had to turn your
Orphan.
back on your you've had to turn your back on your family, but that leads you to maybe looking to build a
Turning
new
your back to
family.
me.
Right. Oh, no more turning your back.
Okay, cool. Penelope,
Yeah,
did we already talk about your aspects?
sure did. That was the first one because I talk too
She's
much.
chatty.
I'm
Oh,
chatty.
you're chatty. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Did we want to talk about our physical appearances or anything? Since
Yeah, we never really described ourselves. all
Yeah,
that
we never
much.
really went into it.
That's up to you
air.
guys. It's totally. I mean, if
backstory and shit.
if you feel like you want to describe your character and what they look like, yeah. But I don't think there should be any pressure. If you're like not quite sure in the back of your mind what your character looks like, that's definitely something that might happen over the course of time. But if you already have an impression, yeah.
Well, just in case anybody isn't familiar with the Enar race, I'm like have white skin and white hair, like no pigment, Andorian. So like an albino Andorian.
Did you say a Pikmin Andorian?
No. I said no pigment.
Oh, no Pigman?
No pigment. Why are you so mean? 0 pigment, like an
Okay.
albino. So
Okay.
I'm like kind of like light blue skin, white hair. My eyes are also white because I don't have the use of them. They're not functional. I guess that's all.
Just sort of your
Appearance-wise.
general
Regular-
appearance, right?
Yeah, regular build, human. I mean, well, like humanoid, excuse
Right.
me.
You're all from that space jizz in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
Magic. Riker jizz.
Founders.
Or Riker jizz, yeah. What was it? What was the theory called, Heather?
The universal Riker theory.
Yeah, could you
In
explain
which all humanoid species come from Riker jerking off into a wormhole.
Oh my god.
That's why they're all humanoid.
Yeah, and then it went like into like a temporal flux, and then back in time, and then here we are.
We're all a little bit Riker.
Oh my god.
There's a little Riker in everyone.
Yeah, and some of us are more Riker than others, like a Gug over there.
That's right.
So,
That's right. I got lots of Riker
Yeah.
in
You got a little Riker in you? You want some?
Ooh.
Reminds me of being a teenager at the carnival. What?
Nothing. nothing.
What?
Nothing at all.
Oh man, carnies do say some weird shit to teenage girls. Anyway.
They do.
I mean, not surprised. Nobody was surprised. So, yeah, the next thing is to assign your skill points. And let me find those. If you...
I was gonna say I had
Oh, yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
a couple things I wanted to say about my character.
Do it.
Me too.
Okay.
Go first.
So I'm Bajoran. I'm petite. I'm not a whole lot to look at. I'm pretty unassuming. I blend in pretty well, which is fine by me. I am kind of sloppy in so much as like it just doesn't matter to me. Like I just don't care that much.
Didn't iron
and-
your
Yeah,
uniform?
fuck that. Jesus Christ, no. That's terrible. And I think one of the main things is I'm not religious at all, like most Bajorans are. I just have never been. My mom hates me for it. She's still alive. I don't talk to her. My dad died,
Okay.
and I wear his earring.
Okay, good. I like that. I didn't know that.
Everyone
about you.
seems to have a
There you go.
story about, and this makes sense for the ship you're on. Everyone has like a solid story of falling out with some aspect
Yeah.
of their family, and I mean, as far as the Komodo, it makes sense because that's sort of what the Komodo is. The Komodo is almost like a second chance for everyone that's on this ship. Like you're all too valuable to just slap in a space station and put you on, really boring duty, but you also have something in your past that makes you, for whatever reason, has made Starfleet sort of wonder or question whether it's justified or not. Is a different story. It doesn't even have to be. It could be a false accusation, or the Starfleet got the situation wrong, or you don't believe Starfleet made the right decision on whatever it was. But for whatever reason, Starfleet has thought, you know what, not first tier. This is not Enterprise material. That sort of thing. Not even hood
Flagship
material.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, less than that even. Lox, did you have something?
See, so just in a description kind of way, and I don't think this is going to surprise anyone, but I'm a nice, tall, broad-shouldered. Yep. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with the
Bloodline.
Klingons as we normally know them, not in the super updated Klingon, because I want to be approachable.
Yeah.
So, but I do have that classic Klingon long hair, but mine are dreads. It's black, real long. I have big tits, and that they would be out if I was in Klingon garb.
Absolutely.
And I'm trying to find any way to unbutton the top of
So many
my
boob
pants.
Windows on your
Right.
off-duty clothes.
That's right. My pants are obviously far too tight for me. But
Just replicate
but
those
my
a size too
excuse-
small.
right. My excuse is that they help me kick higher.
Yeah.
Oh God, I like it.
they do.
I like it. Oh my God.
Yeah, so oh, and I mean, I obviously want a good amount of points in flashy, but how is it that we
That's the next
do
step.
that?
So
Yes.
we
Okay,
get
great.
there when you feel like you've described your character.
I think you guys get the
Do you
gist.
wear-
Does
Do you
Of the
wear
Loxus.
top
have anything?
like the Lurza and what are those two sisters' names? They have the boob windows.
Vitor?
If I could,
Lursa.
if I could,
Vitor.
but I think
you're
because I'm Starfleet, they probably wouldn't
Starfleet.
let me.
Like in your off
Yeah.
time, your downtime, when you're in your
yeah.
civilian.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
boob windows. There's boobs.
Right. There's so many
Sweet.
boob windows.
Yeah.
If I could hike them up any higher, that I would.
Yeah.
And I probably don't wear a bra in my Starfleet uniform
no.
just to fuck with people because
Yeah.
it's like, well, you can't force me.
Yeah.
True. They don't know what your
Big
boobs do.
titties be swinging.
Fuck yeah.
I don't either, but it doesn't make a difference.
Little boobies.
Except for there's chafing sometimes.
I have
the nipple
mid-sized
chafing.
boobies, everybody.
Yeah.
If you're interested in what size Slavia's boobs are, regular size.
Regular size.
Like
I mean, what does that even mean?
like a B. You know,
I want a solid
mid-size.
description.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. A mid-size.
Do you have big nipples? Do you have small nipples? I mean,
I think they're like.
what are you working with?
What's the areola like?
Exactly. With
They're
dark
like a little
light.
more blue. They're a little more blue than the rest of my skin.
A little more pigment.
And they're like just regular sized, like normal.
They're not like
Not big,
good.
not small.
they're not
like,
any nipples.
They're well, maybe like one's an innie sometimes.
Oh, nice. Little shy guy.
Yeah, a little shy guy.
Shaquille, does the carpet match the drapes?
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm a freaking albino. I got nothing, no pigment in my whole skins or any of my hairs.
She actually dyes only her pubic hair.
Oh God. I don't think I
like
want to
it.
make that character decision for myself just yet.
Oh my god.
We will see.
Ashley, have you put any thought into? And if you don't, that's no worries. You don't even. Oh, I was just about to say you don't even have a name, but
I do too,
wow.
Penny.
Penny, we already talked about that.
Welcome to our podcast, Susie.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me. I'm glad I could be here. Any thoughts yet on what Penelope might look like?
I really feel like she probably wears tie-dye, but I know that
Yes.
that's not really a Starfleet thing. But
Tie-dye
It's your
panties.
off-duty wear. Yep.
yeah, my off-duty wear is
Underneath your
definitely a lot of
uniform.
tie-dye. I feel like Zoe Deschanel at Coachella kind of thing. Like, like manic
All right, I'm
pixie-
changing my mind about our engagement with each other. You might be the DL gal.
I'm your side
A
piece.
little hippie.
Yes.
A little hippie.
Penny.
Everyone's a side piece.
That's true. That's just true. You don't have a
Penny,
main
do you
dish. You're
have-
all appetizers and side dishes. So. Do I have what now?
I'm sorry. Do you have the traditional short Vulcan haircut, baby bangs?
Well, I have the baby bangs, but I like to kind of spike it out a little bit because I feel like that really is my personality coming out. So I have it longer than to Paul's probably. It's like a couple inches long, and I like to kind of porcupine it, if you will.
Like in the back?
Yeah.
Do you think that's that fits into Starfleet's dress code?
I think that I push the envelope on that, but yes.
Like it-
Your hairstyle.
depending
Your
on
hairstyle
the-
is what got you kicked off your last ship.
yeah. That's
Depending
why.
on the captain,
my
they
hair.
might.
Is this like a Guy Fieri hairstyle?
Oh,
No.
No, it's like a 90s lesbian hairstyle.
that one.
okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Like one of those girls in Kitty had that band. Does anybody
Yeah.
remember that band Kitty?
oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
I had that haircut in high school.
I always
But-
wanted
yeah,
that haircut,
yeah.
but I never got it.
Yeah.
Again, why do I like you people so much?
Okay, Susie, please talk to us about the points.
Sure.
Already, I just want to give out points constantly. Take points to you, and you. I don't know if I can actually do that, but I want to.
Well, I think I want to work a mechanic like that in, but we'll get to that more in gameplay. But let's talk about distributing your points. So, among your 6 stats, you get to they're right here, 6 stats. You get to choose 1 at good, which is +3. You get to choose 2 at fair, so you put +2 in 2 of the boxes. 2 at average, which is just +1, and then 1 at mediocre, which is +0. So 1 at +3, 2 at +2, 2 at +1, and 1 at +0.
Perfect.
And there's a scale, just so you understand what those
Sure.
numbers mean. This comes in when you roll. The scale goes to -2 to +8. And these are the numbers, these are modifiers that you will add to your rolls when you roll. So unlike D&D, which use number dice, we have these dice with the minuses, the pluses, and then nothing. And each dice has 2 pluses, 2 minuses, and 2 nothings, I believe.
Yeah.
I didn't roll the dice over and look at
I've-
them, but that's what I
I looked at
assumed.
them
Good.
in detail. You are correct.
So, and a plus adds 1 to the score, a -1 subtracts 1 from the score, and a blank side is nothing. So if you roll, 2 pluses and 2 negatives, if you roll 4 dice, let's say, that's 0, right? Because the minuses nullify the pluses. Right. If you roll 2 pluses and then 2 blank side dices, that's 2. So if you have +3 in something, that becomes a 5, right? So the scale, or the ladder they call it, is 0 is mediocre, and if you're not trained in something, or if it's not something your character is good at, you just take mediocre. If you can't, for some reason, if nothing else, you never roll at a negative just to start out, unless you've been inflicted with something. So 0 is mediocre, +1 is average, +2 is fair, +3 is good, +4 is great, +5 is superb, +6 is fantastic, +7 is epic, and +8 is legendary. -1 is poor, and -2 is terrible. The cool thing about Fate is that it's a lot of yes and or no buts. So, I mean, all yes buts, please. But so even if you fail or you tie for a success, that might not necessarily mean you fail. There are some instances where the rules say you fail. But sometimes even when you fail, you might get a certain positive benefit, or someone on your team might get a very minor positive benefit. So it's just because you fail doesn't necessarily mean you always outright totally fail. And if you describe something really well, I might be more inclined to, wave my hand and say, you know what, you don't fail quite as hard, or maybe you just barely succeed, something like that. So
Okay.
So you look at those 6 skills: careful, clever, flashy, forceful, quick, and sneaky. Decide which one you want to, ultimately I would say decide which one you want to be your best. Decide with the +3. Decide which one you want to be your worst with the +0. And then kind of fill the rest in with the 2 +2s and the 2 +1s.
So I did do mine last night. So do you guys want to go first?
I was gonna say, if you don't know quite right now, we don't have to talk through it individually. But yeah, if you've already got it decided, go ahead and Danny, tell us what you did.
So I decided that Savia is the most, her biggest aspect would be clever.
Mm-hmm.
Makes sense because I'm an engineer. So I put my 3 in clever, and I think I'm mediocre at punching stuff.
Sure. Yep.
I probably didn't put a lot of thought into that as a Enar who was interested in technology. So my forceful is my 0. Now, when I was thinking about it, you kind of posed clever as the opposite of careful, and I was thinking more like careful was like taking my time, to carefully think out what I want to do, which I put hand in hand with clever. So I put clever and quick in my next. I don't know what the second one was called. My good or not good, but the one below good. So with 2 points, I put careful and quick. Because, I think I would probably be fast because I'm, not strong. And then also careful, personality-wise, I think I would...
You're always scanning shit. You are so careful.
Right, yeah. Exactly. I'm not trying to go into a air duct with a ghost might be or whatever.
No, 100%. Mm-hmm.
And then sneaky and flashy in just 1.
Okay. Yeah.
I got mine.
Well, all right, lay it on us.
Careful, 0. Clever, 1.
Okay.
Yep.
Flashy, 2.
Yeah.
Oh,
Forceful,
2.
3.
3.
Yep.
Yep.
Quick, 2. Sneaky, 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Good.
Totally
That sounds good to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I have mine too. I have careful 3, clever at a +2, flashy at a +0,
Yeah.
forceful at a +1, quick at a +2, and sneaky at a +1.
Okay. Perfect. And Ashley, if you haven't decided right now, don't worry about it. If you
I have it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I think that clever is 3 and careful is 0.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously. And then for my 2s, I have flashy and quick.
Okay.
And then forceful and sneaky are 1s.
Cool.
I think
That's a
we're
good
pretty
mix.
good
we-
range.
We didn't
Well-rounded.
have any repeats.
Yeah.
Well, there's not that many quick people.
Well, we're
There's some
fine
of you who
at-
are
Well, I
fine
have a
at quick.
2 for quick, so
Fine at quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we're fine at quick.
Yeah.
Nobody's
Yeah.
like, nobody, put a 3 in quick, right? But there's some of you who have 1s or 2s in quick, so.
Yeah.
You guys are clever and careful, which is the opposite of me.
Right.
Yeah, you balance them
And
out.
I'm flashy and forceful.
Yeah.
You know it.
I'm
Respectfully forceful
sorry. The dog just...
when I'm being flashy.
The
What's
dog,
Winston doing?
the dog just peeked his head into the door and looked at me.
Oh.
Oh, my
Now
babe.
he's here. I
What you
love
doing in here? You doing all right?
Okay,
Can
now
I get
you're
you
too
anything?
close. No, thank you for snarf blatting right in my face. Okay.
I wish my boyfriend would check in on me because I'm trying to get him to do stuff. He's not paying attention to me.
Is he playing Overwatch?
Probably.
Well, I think we have your answer then.
I'm texting him and messaging him on Google. And
Oh,
fucking
yeah. That sounds like Steven. He's got the attention span of like a ferret, right?
Yeah.
nothing. Yeah.
And I was going to say
true.
gnat, but I guess the parents slightly more attention to you than...
He's a little bit
Gnat.
more, he's a little oilier than a gnat.
A little greasier.
Yeah.
gross.
Sleeps a lot. Real stinky shit.
Thank you.
Yep, definitely a ferret.
Yep.
Character assassination.
Susie.
Ooh, what are stunts?
Yeah.
Susie?
So,
Stunts and tricks.
stunts and tricks are, it's a good question, because this is probably the thing I'm the shakiest on. So I'll just read this out loud to you. A stunt is a special trait that changes the way an approach works for you. And an approach are these stats. These are the careful, clever, flashy, forceful, quick, sneaky. So a stunt changes the way an approach works for your character. Generally, stunts give you a bonus, almost always +2 to a certain approach when used with a particular action. So there are 4 types of actions that I mentioned before. And let me just give those to you real quick. There's creating an advantage in which... So creating an advantage is where you discover something or about the scene or make something happen in a scene. So let's say that creates, and it literally creates an advantage. So you might start the room on fire.
Is that an advantage?
In a way, it can be if it kills all the bad guys and you're able to leave, right? So and then the interesting thing about Fate is that when you create something like that, now the room has an aspect that is being on fire. So now the room is like a character in the sense that it has an aspect that describes its quality being on fire, and that's I put a link to a online sticky note board that if you want to access it, great. If you don't, we'll reference it, and I'll reference it plenty. But it's a place where I'm going to keep track of what aspects are happening when. So if you enter a room, you start it on fire, I'll put an aspect sticky note up for the room. Room is on fire. And then someone later can maybe do an action to put the fire out. Okay, now then I delete that sticky note. So this is the most convoluted one. So you can either create a quote-unquote advantage. It's anything you do try to help yourself or one of your friends. So you create an aspect in the room or the situation. You can discover an existing aspect that already is there. So this might be like rolling in D&D. You might roll an insight check, like, oh, what's the deal with the window? Is the window easy to break, right? You're not creating it. Creating an aspect is starting the room on fire. You're introducing something new. Discovering an aspect is something that already exists in the area, but you're learning it now. Your character's now learning it.
Right.
So they call it creating an advantage. It's just you're discovering something about the scene or changing something about the scene. So that's one type of action. The next type of action you can do is overcome, and that's when something generally is in your way and you're trying to get past it. Picking a lock, escaping from handcuffs, leaping across a chasm, flying a spaceship through an asteroid field. There's some sort of barrier between you and the thing you're trying to accomplish. You do an overcome skill. There is the attack skill. It's pretty self-explanatory. And the defend skill, which Also pretty self-explanatory. So those are the 4 actions. That's it. There's 4 actions you do in the game. And when you decide what you're doing obviously you don't, every time we're doing something, you don't have to be like, my action is advantage. This is what I'm doing. It only makes sense to really trot out those 4 situations when something really interesting is happening. In D&D, often they handle that because the most interesting thing that ever happens in D&D is a battle. So usually that's handled through initiative, right? You roll initiative and then you have a set sort of actions you can do. But in Fate, there's no initiative, there's no roll battle, like structured battle system. But there are times when if you want to do something and it's not a tense situation and you just want to do it, like I searched the library. Okay, I'm going to take 10 minutes to search the library. I'm not going to make you declare what type of action you're going to do. I'm not going to make you roll. If it's something that you could just normally do over the course of time, and it's not really a strenuous task, I'm not going to make you roll for it. You just do it. And you describe it, and we describe what happens when you do it. So the actions aren't quite as important as they are in D&D. So, back to stunts. So, when you do one of these actions, you take one of your stats, right? Clever or forceful, and you say, I'm going to use my forceful skill to do one of these actions. And then you describe why it makes sense. And then you say, well, and because my aspect helps me, and then you describe why maybe one of your aspects helps you with the situation, then you might get a bonus. So, sorry, this is sort of rambling because it's really a really loose, very loosely based system. Everything commingles. And I think it'll make a lot more sense when we start. So back to stunts. Gives you a bonus to a certain approach when used with a particular action under a specific circumstance. So you get 1 stunt to start. And you don't have to decide on it now. You could decide on it later in a game when you're like, oh, okay, this is a stunt that would make sense for my character. So you don't have to choose it now, but if something pops in your head, you can go ahead and choose. And you have a refresh number. And I'm just actually literally reading the rules to you right now. Your refresh number on the character sheet is how many fate points you get at the beginning of each game. So if your refresh is 3, it's 3, and if you want more than 1 stunt, you reduce your refresh number. So everyone starts out with, actually, I think up to 3 stunts. And if you want 4 stunts, then you'd only have a refresh of 2 each time. And don't at me if I'm wrong on this internet. So every time you start a game, your refresh number resets. And those are the amount of fate points you have. And fate points allow you to do certain actions. And we'll get into that as we play. I don't want to bore you guys to tears. Yeah. So
I say tops, we're going to decide on 1 stunt today.
Yeah, yep.
Tops.
There are tricks, maneuvers, or techniques your character has that can change how your approach works for you. You get bonuses, usually +2. It can reflect a specialized high quality or exotic equipment that you have. So if you have a really rad gun or a really rad...
I got some exotic equipment for you.
I mean, if you have a really cool batleth, that would be considered a stunt.
Fuck yes!
Yeah.
Fuck yes!
Super good at umox, like.
So it could be like, because I have... Let me just read this. Because I have a rad batleth, you describe it however it makes sense for you, whatever that batleth means to you, I get a +2 when I forcefully attack, right?
Got it.
So here's some examples for you. Because I am a smooth talker, I get +2 when I sneakily create advantages when I'm in conversation with someone. So in this case, the stunt is smooth talker. Because I am a lover of puzzles, that's the stunt, I get +2 when I cleverly overcome obstacles when I am presented with a puzzle.
Because of all those crosswords.
Yes, so I'm actually going to copy a blob of text into the Google Hangout. And this is the template. Because and then you describe in some way that you are exceptional have a cool bit of gear, or are otherwise awesome, I get +2, and then you pick one of the approaches when I carefully, cleverly, flashfully, forcefully, quickly, or sneakily, and then pick one of the 4 actions: attack, defend, create advantages, or overcome. And then a circumstance that's specific, like a rather specific circumstance. So in one of these examples, I am presented with a puzzle, riddle, or similar conundrum. So, I mean, kind of vague, but still, I mean, specific, but not like I am presented with puzzles that involve cats, right? It doesn't have to be that specific. It could be, but then you'd be limiting yourself.
Susie, tell us how many puzzles are going to involve cats. Give me a figure.
Space cats?
Yeah.
99.
If we had
puzzles.
explored the ship a little bit more, we totally would have found space cats. Just, you know, they're
Probably.
everywhere.
They were definitely in one of those rooms we didn't look in. I know that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so for Loxuses, right, because I have a rad batleth, I get a +2 when I forcefully attack when, someone, and because your background is kind of like bodyguard, when you get a +2 when I attack when someone attacks one of my teammates or something like that. Or I get
Does it have to be that specific, though? I mean, wouldn't it, especially something as straightforward as Rad Batleth, she gets a bonus when she attacks with her Rad Batleth. Hand to hand, melee.
there is a circumstance that you have to add to your stunt. So, because I have a big kite shield, I get +2 when I forcefully defend when I use my shield in close combat.
Right, well, that's what I just basically said with the Batleth. When you use the Batleth as a melee weapon.
Yes, yeah, yep, so...
yeah, because I can't always use a batleth.
Right, it's not something you're not trying to pick a lock with your batleth.
With a batleth.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, and you won't
Long
always
range
necessarily
attack
even be attacking
with a batleth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep, precisely. So, and then there are forceful attacks are obviously physical attacks. But there are times when there are mental situations where you might have to defend mentally or may even make a mental attack. So, for example, Deanna,
Yeah.
your trouble was that you have no filter, right? Or one of your aspects was that aspects was that you have no filter.
Yes.
If you do something, if you say a scathing insult to someone to try to take them aback or confuse them or throw them off their game, I would say they have to do a mental defend, and that would be a clever defend. They'd have to roll some sort of
Against
mental
my clever?
defense against your scathing verbal attack, right?
Okay.
Bully, maybe, would be what we call that stunt.
So, yeah, and that could even be one of your stunts. You could say, because I am...
A bully.
Because I have no filter, or because I like to verbally attack people, I get +2 when I...
Because I can't help it to verbally attack people.
I get +2 when I insult people when I'm, in a like combative... when I'm in an argument or something like that. So...
That I feel like I'm setting myself up for failure, though, to have like super witty, like piercing words, and I'm just like, you're just fuck
What do you say?
fucking fuck.
We're gonna make you describe it,
Everyone's
so
really
you better
impressed.
go on some comment threads and pick up some zingers.
Yeah, just like
God.
have them written down and ready to go for when you're,
Yeah.
Just have YouTube up and just scroll through some
some of the comments.
no.
Jeez.
I don't want to be
Oh
sad.
my God. Yeah, Kender and D&D have a very similar ability to that, where they have like scathing words that can enrage someone and make them lose sight of what they were doing.
Yeah.
And I was playing a Kender once, and I was trying to use that ability, and the DM was like, "What do you say?" I'm like, fuck, this is not... I'm lucky if I can tell one joke a day. Like, I made Leaf laugh at something dumb I said earlier, and he was like, good one. I'm like, that's it. That's the only witty, clever thing I got all day. So,
I'm a zinger.
I feel ya. It's always something we can do in post, too. You could just be like, your mom it smells like elderberries, and we can be like, okay. And if you think of something later, I can just swap it in, whatever.
Yeah, just record it and we'll just jump it in there.
Yeah. So that, let me just make sure. Think about your stunts. You don't have to even have them when we start the first game, but if you come up with some, great. And you can have up to 3 of them for free. Let me just look at the character sheet to make sure we got everything. We got your name, your description, your refresh is 3. That means your current fate points when we first start will be 3. You got your high concept, you got a trouble. You have 1 additional aspect underneath your trouble. You got your approaches. You got that big box for stunts where you can start dreaming up your stunts.
So many.
And we can the boxes are for stress and consequences are specifically related to battle. And we can talk
That's
about
like damage, basically.
Yep, we can talk about that when we get into combat. So,
Yeah.
Cool.
Really, that's basically it.
I guess unless anyone pre-thought of a stunt or has thought of one as we were speaking.
Not really.
Yeah.
It's a
I
little more
assume
complicated.
Savia's will relate to her telepathy mainly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would say use your stunts to accomplish the most important telepathic powers you want to have. I would say use your stunts for that. So if
Yeah,
you're
I was
interested
just
in
gonna ask.
telekinesis or telepathy or anything like that,
I'm interested in those things.
nope,
Give them
not
to
at all
me.
interested.
So I was thinking, like, I mean, I know nobody else is probably going to get into stunts, but I kind of had this on my back burner mentally already, and so now that we've talked about it, I was thinking, like, it would probably be a boost to clever to, like, be able to use my psychic ability to detect stuff that, I wouldn't necessarily otherwise know. So not necessarily creating an aspect of the room or whatever, but discovering one, like you said. Like if there's a...
You have like
secret-
high insight checks, or like you have a constant perception. Like
Yeah.
Right.
So I think if you want to do that,
ESP.
if you want to do that in the heat of the moment, like you want your power to, you walk into a room and you want to be able to like sort of instantly get an idea of like all of the potential dangers in the room immediately. I would say clever. Usually that's
So that would be one of my stunts, maybe. Would be that I could cleverly,
Yes.
tell what the fuck's up.
That sort of mechanism is usually done under the careful, but I think for you and telepathy and the desire to get it done ASAP is more for you. I think it makes sense for clever. So yeah, I would say if you want to use that as a clever stunt, go for it.
Okay.
So, Susie, I was thinking, like, when it comes to stunts in relation to, just previous D&D stuff, like, I would, like, want a +2 flashy whenever I'm trying to get into somebody's pants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
Oh, yeah.
or disarm
even
somebody
if,
with your boobies.
Exactly, but that's what I mean, right? So, like,
Yeah.
if I want to turn on my sex drive, I can get a +2 flashy, and whether or not I'm using that to actually get laid or to just distract people or whatever.
So it could be something like
Curry favor
because
with any Ferengi.
because I'm a
Skeezy skeezer to
because I'm a highly sexual creature. I'm a highly sexual because I have a hot.
the nice way to put it.
Yeah,
Yes, great. I like it.
I get
Hot
plus.
babe, guys. Hot babe.
Because I'm a hot babe, I
There we
get
go.
+2 when I flashily.
Try to seduce.
When I flashily, and I would say it would be the technical skill. It would be create advantage when I.
Flashily
Well,
flash
you know
people.
I think so. Seduction might be too limited. When I created advantage when I
Seduction has so many possibilities.
Yeah.
So
You could
because
seduce
my
someone
other
into
thought-
just being nice, or you could seduce them into literally having sex with you.
that's true. Seduction is very broad.
Any female
Yeah,
spy
'cause-
in anything ever. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Any interaction with the Ferengi, done.
What were you saying there, Heather?
Because another thought of mine was like, okay, well, I want to seduce people, but in another aspect, I totally want to intimidate, which would be a forceful, like a +2 to forceful to intimidate people.
So that would
right?
that would be a second stunt.
Right. No, yeah, totally. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I want these three stunts, right? I want to be able to intimidate people, I want to be able to seduce people, and I want to be able to kick shit people.
Yeah.
So hot babe, bitch,
Yep.
and like good batleth
Yeah.
are your 3 stunts, is what you're
Yep.
saying.
Being a big bitch,
She gives good batleth.
swinging my tits,
Yeah.
and swinging my batleth.
That sounds,
yeah.
I mean, I think we got them.
Yeah.
Put those in the books.
Boom. Got it.
Nailed it. Nailed it in one. Yeah. So
Yeah, I probably want a forceful version of telepathy as well. Like, I mean, my forceful's 0, so having it would just kind of bring me to regularly decent at it. But, some kind of physical consequence of my mental ability also, like a fucking mind push or whatever. What's the force push? A force push.
Fusro da.
Yeah.
First push.
So, there we go.
the focus of the beginning, the first bit of the next game is picking up Ashley. So
Penny.
Picking up Penny. And I like the idea of maybe you're on your way to pick up someone who's been assigned to the Komodo, and you're going to stop at one of the space stations. The
Starbase
Yes.
56.
69.
69. I'm sorry. 69. God.
69.
How'd I miss the joke twice?
Susie's gone. I'll take over. Yes, you can totally do that. Sounds like a great feat, as far as I'm concerned.
You have been listening to Mammary Alpha. Your hosts would like to thank Smelly Tooth for our theme song and roll music for various other music on the podcast. You can find us online at mammaryalpha.com or on Facebook and Twitter at Mammary Alpha. You can tweet us using the hashtag MammryAlpha or This Podcast Is the Tits, which Dee Dee has been desperately trying to make happen. You can see our other projects at postrepost.com. And if you'd like to support the podcast, you can leave us a review on iTunes.